Davey Wreden, who co-created The Stanley Parable, a game which I absolutely adored for its smart deconstruction and examination of game design, has a new game out. His new game, The Beginner's Guide, seems very similar to The Stanley Parable at first glance. Both fall under the sometimes derogatory genre of walking simulator. Both begin by dropping the player in a foreign environment with little or no context or introductory story elements, and both have a narrator who serves as the game's main storyteller and provides some context to what you're doing in the game. And that's about where the similarities end. Players who enjoyed The Stanley Parable's quirky sense of humor should know that The Beginner's Guide has a very different tone, and there's not many jokes or things that'll make you laugh in this game. It's a more serious and thought-provoking experience that invites its players to think analytically not only about the games they play, but the creators that make the games they play. The Beginner's Guide begins on a custom Counter-Strike map, where Davey Wreden, the game's creator, introduces himself as the narrator. He explains that the custom Counter-Strike map, and every other level and short game that appear in the Beginner's Guide were all created by a developer named Coda, who retired a few years ago from making games. Wreden, who claims he was influenced and inspired by Coda's work, has compiled many of his short games together into one mega game, The Beginner's Guide, and has shared them on the internet in order to pique interest in Coda's work and hopefully coax him back into making games. Coda's levels in games start simple, beginning with a basic custom Counter-Strike map, and then progress to more thematically complex games that explore conveying emotion through level design and dialogue with NPCs. Wreden accompanies you on your exploration with narrative, commenting on the level design, Coda's design intentions and the development process, and also continuously elaborates on the nature of their relationship. The Beginner's Guide is a fascinating game to play if you have any interest at all in game design, and it really gets you to think a lot about the design process and the fact that developers themselves are human beings and how their emotional state can affect a game's design, and also vice versa. The Beginner's Guide is a solid follow-up to The Stanley Parable. Although it's tonally and thematically different, it's still just as interesting as The Stanley Parable, and I found it to be even more thought-provoking. Check this out if you want to experience a more mature version of The Stanley Parable, or to see some really neat level design and emotional storytelling.